Welcome, everybody, to episode 4 of Airships and Arcana. As you can see behind me, we got to work on our cliff face between episodes. Just kind of experimented with a bit. I tried adding some of the tuff and andesite like we had previously talked about, and I think it actually turned out all right. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I think it's pretty good for now. So we kind of use the tuff in like the darker parts of the rock, the areas that would in theory be shadowed. And then we use the andesite as more of a highlight in some of these places. And I think it turned out okay. It's not perfect, but honestly, it's just going to be more of a backdrop for the area anyways, so I'm not too concerned about it. Still need to add some more on this side, but if we look at it from above, you can see we've got a nice flat area we could potentially build on. Slopes down on the side here, and I'll have to expand it out this way. I'm not really sure how far just yet, but we'll get to that a little later. I also have to get to work on the left side of this. We haven't built this out yet. It's going to have a much sharper curve, I'm thinking. But currently, I'm debating whether or not I want to add another layer of cliff just above it and have a waterfall coming off of that, and then maybe building some kind of like a mill house or a water wheel house, and then using that water wheel as a visualization of the power that's going into both our elevator and our iron farm. Iron farm, you say? There's no iron farm here. I was supposed to build that in the last episode, and I didn't. Well, stuff happens, and unfortunately I didn't have time, and I completely forgot to address it at the end of the last episode, but that is our primary goal for today, is getting this iron farm built up, and getting the start of our mining area on the outside here going. As you can see, I've placed down some sand. This is going to be our main floor block around here to kind of give it this nice industrial yard feel. And you'll see a bit more of what I mean when we get to it, but right now we have a bit of a problem. I don't actually have, well, any more sand. This is all of my sand, minus like a little bit that I'm holding on to back in my base just in case I need glass. I've got literally none. I could continue ripping out the beach over here, but honestly, I don't want to destroy the land near where I'm going to be building too much. And if we look at the map here, I don't know anywhere where there's a desert. I could craft, there's a nature's compass. It's very cheap. I could craft that and go find a desert, dig up a bunch of sand. Or we could not do that. There are actually a couple of other ways we can get sand right here in our base without having to go anywhere. Now, the obvious answer is the create mod. We can set up a couple of crushing wheels and end up breaking down cobblestone into gravel and then gravel into sand. Only issue is you need crafters to make crushing wheels, and you need a lot of stress to power those crafters, and I don't think this setup is quite strong enough currently. So we're going to have to put that idea on hiatus. But we have other mods that can achieve this for us. Oh yes, friendos. It's time to start getting magical. So this here, floating above our crafting table, is the Ars Nouveau spellbook. Oh yeah. I absolutely love this mod. This is one of my favorite mods. I've been playing with it for a very long time. I haven't played with it on newer versions here, but what this allows us to do is use all these different glyphs to craft custom spells that'll have unique effects based off of what we chain together. So if we open up the spellbook here, you can see that we have only a couple of different glyphs to work from. The first part is our form, and that determines how the spell interacts with the world. So is it I touch something, like with my fists? Do I need to apply it to myself, or am I going to shoot a projectile that the spell will affect? And then we have only two basic things, being harming, so this will just deal damage to a target, or breaking, and this will just destroy a block. So what we could do here is do a touch, break, and then we can like name our spell. So let's name it, I don't know, just break block. And then boom, we have that saved. So now we can access our spell wheel and we'll select the spell we want. So we'll take the break, and here, let's pop outside so we're not destroying our base. All right, so we set up this little cobblestone wall to show off how this kind of works. So if I stand up right against it and I click it, as you can see, it instantly breaks the block, just as if I had mined it with a pickaxe. Now, if we place regular stone and break that, you'll see it turns into cobblestone. It does not apply Silk Touch by itself, though that is something we could potentially add onto it. I want to say one of these will give us a Silk Touch effect. though I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head. But you'll notice if we back up, as long as we can reach it by hand, we can break the blocks. Now, I think it's being a little weird here, because I can't technically break that block from here, but I want to say because we have effortless building, it's kind of messing with the basic reach distance. So, it's a little extra of what it would normally be. If we edit the spell, we can actually change it to a projectile. So now, we can be way back here and break it just like that. Now, if you remember last episode when we went into the mines and found those spell trinkets, that is the same spell casting system that we're using here. So we could go and rewrite the spells on these to do something that we want. However, the main thing that I'm getting into this right now for is for this glyph right here, the crushing glyph. Now, once we make this, we can apply it to our book and we'll know it forever. And what it allows us to do is break a block down into the next state in the same way that a crushing wheel does from create. So that will take, cobblestone into gravel into sand. And that way, we can just get a ton of cobblestone and make all the sand we need for out here super, super easy. But to do that, we have to do a lot of crafting and some specialized imbuement. All right, so down in our basement now, set up crafting table. We are going to do a couple of things. First off, we're going to just pretty much skip the novice level of the spell books because it limits what you can do with it quite a bit. And we're just going to go straight into the mage's spellbook. This thing is capable of taking higher tiers of glyphs, so it can take a tier 2 glyph in addition to tier 1s, and also it gives us more mana to work with. So upgrading the book increases our mana. There's also like robes and stuff that we can wear to increase it, and I think there's even enchantments. Oh, hello. To get further into this mod, we need to place down this imbuement chamber. And what this can do is turn lapis or amethyst shards very slowly into source gems. There we go. And so with this now, we can access a bunch of different crafting recipes. What I'm probably going to do is hook up a couple of hoppers to these so that way it'll auto-craft them, because these take a very long time. It's like a good 2 minutes, I think. We can actually speed this up through providing source, which is like the mana of this system, but I'm not concerned about doing that just now. Most importantly, we're going to need a couple of pedestals, so that way we can end up crafting our glyph. Now, as you see, I went ahead and prepared our table already. That is backwards. And what this allows us to do is look at the full list of glyphs. And here we can also see what it requires. So, like, if I want to make this harvest, I would need that green thing that I don't remember the name of. I think it's like an earth element. And also an iron hoe. Or this, I would need a lily of the valley flower. Or this, a clock plus a redstone block, etc. You get the point. You can see we need a piston, grindstone, and earth essence. That's what it's called. Now, to create the earth essence, that's what we need our source gems for. But these have to end up sitting on pedestals, so it's just a whole bunch of crafting. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the part where we actually have all the stuff that we need to do this. Oh my god. Look at that thing. Look how cute. Look at his waist. Oh my god. That's so cute. There we go. Look at it. And it just automatically went and finished our glyph. Excellent. Yes, I finally have it. Alright, so we have achieved that. We are going to go ahead and do a touch spell and crush. We'll just name it Crusher. Alright, so now if we place down our cobblestone, now it is gravel, and now it is sand. Look at that. Now, it's a little unfortunate that I'm going to have to go through and manually click each block. If we make the sensitive glyph, we will be able to target items on the floor, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to just do this on top of a block in case it misses. Oops. Yep. I can't target items with it currently. Alright, and that's the sensitive glyph acquired. Let's go ahead and try this out real quick. Alright, so if we do touch, sensitive, crush, in theory, we should be able to do this to items now. No, I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's crushed then sensitive? I feel like that's backwards. Nope, that's right. There we go. Alright, so the sensitive comes after the crush, which is weird because I thought you were supposed to augment before, but must have been misremembering. But, as you can see, that was allowing us to do several at a time. We'll go ahead and switch this to a touch as well. Now, with that, look at that. We can make tons of sand in a very short period of time. As you can see, I've started expanding the sand out now with our new glyph and turning the cobblestone into sand. And it's coming along, It does take a little bit of time, but that's okay. I did add one more glyph to our book, however, and I wanted to give you a little look at that. So we're going to go ahead and make a new spell here, and we're going to apply this to self. And that is the leap spell. So, what this spell does is pretty much what it sounds like. It kind of throws you. Now, it's not very strong by itself, but as you can see, if you go up, you can actually get quite a bit of height. And it does not use much mana at all. I mean, look at that. It barely even takes anything out of the bar. So this, combined with, say, a wooden elytra, is some very, very easy early game flight. And this, I've been looking forward to for some time. Because now with this, we'll be able to get around our world a lot easier. Now, as you can see, just this short little flight has done quite a number on our wooden elytra. It has, like, no durability. I think it's, like, 60 or something. So, really not going to be using this too much. But it is an option if we ever need to go long distance. And what we'll be able to do, too, is with this, we'll be able to actually make this throwing spell even more powerful. And once I get the resources to do so, I will be able to make a slow-falling glyph as well, so I won't even need the elytra. I'll just be able to jump and then slowly fall to the ground where it's nice and safe. Later in the pack, we will, of course, get an actual elytra as well as a bunch of other equipment. We even have the Create Jetpack mod, so we'll be able to use that once we have the resources, but that is much later into the pack. Alright, we made some more glyphs, and by some, I mean quite a few. As you can see, we added a bunch of the different augments and a couple of others, but unfortunately, with this version of ours, the newer one since I last played, you need XP to make the glyphs, and we still don't have XP, so oh well. But as you just saw, I did get the Amplify one, so we're gonna see just how bad this is. Woo! Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I like that. We're gonna go ahead and tone that down. I will absolutely splat if I don't, because now that's pretty strong. That can get me around, and I can be pretty safe about my landings with it. Oh yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, maybe even that's a bit strong. Okay, we'll do just one amplify before I splat. But that is enough messing around, guys. It is time to actually build the iron farm. With that completed, let's take a look at what we built here. So as you can see, we expanded out the cliff a little bit, and now we have this belt running out of the mine area. And it does a little zigzag before reaching this machine that we just built up. And so inside the mountain here, we're going to have some cobblestone farms. They're going to feed out onto this belt, zigzag away through here, and then eventually go into these millstones. And these millstones are going to be spinning at a pretty nice speed. The crushed gravel will come out through these here and fall into the water right here. And then these 3 fans will all be working on it simultaneously. And what we did here is a little bit of a sneaky thing. This this funnel is actually pointing directly into a storage drawer. So if we set a filter on that, now it's only going to take iron nuggets. So we can go ahead and put that back on there. We'll have to lock that so that way it doesn't forget what's supposed to be in there. Actually, I might have, yep, I have my key on me. So we can just do that right now. Perfect. So now, even if it's completely empty, only iron nuggets will be able to go in there. So all the flint that we're going to get from it is just going to be left down there and will eventually despawn. With that then, all the nuggets that we get are going to come through here. They're going to pass through this little counting station. So this display link is reading the tunnel, and then it's going to send a total of however many nuggets we make to here. And this is going to count like its entire lifetime's worth of nuggets. It's probably going to get to a pretty high number by the end of this world. Then over here, they are going to enter into this basin, and of course, once it is full up, we'll filter that. It'll press it down, turn them into an ingot, send it down into our barrel here. We could probably set up another one of these to compress them into blocks, but this machine, as we've already said, is going to be more about aesthetics than function, so not too concerned about running out of storage space for it. Around the back here, you can see it's a little less detailed on this side because you're not really going to be on this side, but it does still have a speedometer and an access ladder, so that way like workers could come up here and like fix the machine or clear out jams or whatever on it. Got some of these nice brackets on the side that make it look super industrial and just really cool in my mind. And then also have these support beams as like feet to support the machine. Alright, now unfortunately this machine isn't quite ready yet to be hooked up to our power and turned on. We do still have to make a control unit that'll sit right about here. We're going to have to flatten this out a bit. That will control the speed that this thing runs at, so that way we don't overstress our system. But we'll go ahead and build that up real quick, get this thing hooked up, and then hopefully we can have our first test run of it. Control unit complete. Alright, so what this thing does pretty much, frankly, is mostly look fancy. It has a lever here that we'll be able to use to adjust exactly how much stress goes into the machine. And then we also have a emergency shutoff just in case. But really, we're pretty much just going to set this to whatever speed seems right and then leave it so it's not like actually going to get used, but that's fine. Now, I set up a belt to get power from above here because, you know, if you remember in the previous episode, we were talking about maybe building a like mill house, like a water wheel house up here, and having like a little creek run through, and that's supposedly providing the power for this area. The actual power that we have is actually coming from a massive water wheel battery buried in the mountain here, but it would give the illusion that this is where the power is coming from. However, I was kind of spitballing this design here, and I like the like almost slightly rusty look of the zinc pillars, but when standing back, they're really bright. They kind of take in all the focus of the area here, and I don't want this to be the primary thing you look at when you're coming in here. I know the iron farm's not really going to be the center focus just because it's very small, but that is just really bright. So for now, I'm going to leave it, but I might adjust it later. So what do you think? Do you think maybe I should switch this out for like spruce fences, maybe some more wooden pillars, or is there maybe another metal I could use? I don't know. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to think about it. Let me know what you think. But coming back here to our cobble farm, we have the mechanical extruder mod, which just adds this block that allows us to farm cobblestone much easier than the traditional create way of using drills or moving platforms to break blocks. This saves on lag, saves on performance, and it achieves the same thing. And realistically, some people might think that this is too easy. I don't care. It's cobblestone. But we'll still have to hook up the funnels for these to extract them, send them on our belt, which will then take them outside to our iron farm. As you can see, we expanded our water wheel battery. We went from 8 to 24. This should now be providing somewhere in the range of about 1,200 SU. The elevator only takes a couple hundred, I believe, maybe about 1,000. So hopefully we'll have about 11,000 left over. Alright, back outside, and as you can see, our cobblestone is caught up to the belt that we turned off. And if we go ahead and pop our speedometer down, we'll be able to take a look at where our system is at. So currently I have the emergency shutoff activated, but if we turn that off real quick, absolutely nothing happens. Nobody panic, okay? Nobody panic. Something is wrong. As it turns out, modifying the machine was not the easiest thing to do. And fingers crossed, let's see if it overstresses. Ooh, it's going. Oh yeah. Okay, so all the cobblestone just went in here. It is now being processed. Nope, it is not being processed. Alright, and this is why I generally avoid doing building from creative mode into survival mode. Makes it very complex trying to figure out when you make errors like this, but we got it sorted. Let's go ahead and throw on some cobblestone and see this machine at work. So we gave it 3 stacks, so each of these should fill up. Nice. And now it is going to be producing a bunch of gravel. So we take a look under here, we finally got our water streams flowing in the correct way, and our fans are going to be helping the objects along. So as you can see, they're just kind of bouncing up here, but they're not getting pulled up through the chute just yet because that filter reset. Oh, and look at that. Tons of iron just went through here all at once. We're already up to 14, 15 nuggets. Look at that. And our very first iron ingot. It's not going to be a fast machine by any means. It's going to do what I need of it, and most importantly, it looks super good. Out of curiosity, let's see how much more we can crank this up. We still got 4,000 SU left over. We might be able to max this thing out on speed. We're almost there. Oh yeah. This thing is flying. We might even leave it up in this speed. I don't know. You know what? It's the kind of thing that if I'm like super desperate to get a lot of iron in a short amount of time, I could just come over here and crank it up. But I think normally I'm going to go ahead and leave it down just because I think the belts moving that fast is a little chaotic to look at. But this feels like a good speed right here. And we'll probably even bump up the speed of the belts, kind of like we were saying earlier. But yeah, that's the iron farm, guys. I think it's looking great. Alright, further adjustments have been made. As you can see, it is absolutely chugging through the cobblestone now. This is probably a little bit faster than the actual cobblestone generation. It doesn't look like it right now because the machines actually have an internal inventory capacity of 64, and they've been full for a bit, so it'll probably take a while to empty out. But my guess is eventually this stream will slow down and not quite keep up with the iron farm itself. But that's okay. We're not really ever going to be running it like this permanently. And we're going to need to take some of that cobblestone and eventually run it over to this other farm that we're going to build at a later time, of course. Now, in the process of building up this iron farm, I had to do a lot of crafting resources, a lot of back and forth between here, my house on the hill there, and even with our ability to, you know, yeet ourselves, it has taken quite a bit of time. And I kind of realized that some of the main issues are that I'm having to go through a lot of creates like crafting processes that were really built for automation. So I think one of the next priorities we should have is actually building up a little workshop. Something that I can have automated and permanent like presses and saws and whatnot to do all the little basic things that Create does without having to sit there and set up a temporary thing and using hand crank and all that. So, I am thinking, because we're going to have that farm over here taking up much of this side, this little space on the corner here is probably the best bet for a little, like, machine shed workshop type thing. So I'm going to prototype a couple of designs, see what I can come up with, and then we're going to build this thing up. Ooh, no, that is terrifying. This right here is probably going to have some serious lore impact on this world, because this is cool. Ooh. No. No. Oh, so much no. Netherite? Oh, I would love it if you dropped some of that. I don't think he will, though. Oh, he did. He dropped his helmet. Ooh. Oh, yeah, you again. Got some diamonds. And I got a netherite helmet out of that. Nice. Is that a spawner in there? There is a spawner in here. Ew. We'll go and light that up and then take note of the coordinates here. Ooh. I appear to be being approached by this brave knight. Brave? Oh, stupid. Killer chicken! Killer chicken! I'm under attack by a killer chicken! Well, that is very unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Oh dear. Gotta run, gotta run, gotta run. Oh, I'm actually a lot closer than I thought I was. This might not be that impossible. Alright, get my stuff. Alright, I think we're okay. I think we recovered from that pretty easily. Very nice. Alright guys, we're gonna have to head out and get a couple of resources in order to actually build up our workshop. Most importantly, jungle wood. And jungle wood is way out here. Luckily we already found this exploring when we previously went to get spruce to start building up this area. But in order to do that, I went ahead and made a whole bunch more glyphs. And now with all these, we can actually get there a little easier. As you just saw, I now have slow falling, which means I can use this to get around really, really fast. But before we head out, I just want to also point out, we have over 6,000 nuggets produced already. I did slap a bunch more amplifies on our spell here, so that way we can cover even more terrain. But just look at this. Look at this nice, like, over-the-top view. This has been one of my favorite ways to travel in modded for a long time, and I'm very happy to have it again. Look at that, in just a matter of moments, we've already gotten within line of sight of our jungle. Alright, we're going to go ahead and just take a couple of the edge here. We mostly need the saplings because then we can continue growing them back at home. Let's go ahead and chop out the bottom here. And you know what we're doing. Ooh, big lag spike from that. And we may have enough saplings here. We might have to chop down a couple more. We'll see in a second here. Is that all the items? Oh, missed a few. Perfect. I would like to get 8 before we leave this area, so that way we hopefully never have to come back. Jungle trees are pretty bad at returning saplings, so hopefully we get enough here. Oh. And we got a banana. Alright, and that's 8. I think we should be good with that. Hopefully we won't need more. If we do, it's not like it's that far away. We do have one more thing that I almost forgot about. And that is dark oak. Now we do have this nature's compass, and as you just saw, I was able to look up where I'm going. But it looks like we got about 1,500 blocks to go that way. And that is beyond wherever I have explored in this world so far. Still jungle. Oh, there's the big mushrooms, and there's our dark oak. Excellent. Oh, interesting. This is ash from desolation, which must mean... Oh, now that is unexpected. This is a burnt forest. And let me tell you, this is a really cool, but also really creepy biome. Yeah, let's get a little deeper in it so you can really get the atmosphere of it. Just look at this. So spooky. What are you? I feel like you're important for something. Look at these huge forests I got to work with here. No wonder this world is taking so long to generate. It's so many leaf blocks. And let's just look at it from the inside. God, this thing is huge. So let me kind of walk you through what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking, this is the end of this assembly line. There's probably going to be like a loading area right behind it where you load all the materials coming off the conveyor onto like either horse-drawn carts or something else to get it away from here into more populated areas where you're going to need the iron, such as factories, etc. Probably would have the same over on this side, so I'm thinking the workshop should be kind of right behind here. So you kind of go around a bit and then come up into the workshop, say right around here. And I think it would look good if we keep a little bit of height on it too, so it makes it a little more prominent on this space. And also because going this way, we're going to kind of expand this out. Let's look at it from above. We're going to kind of expand this out and bring it down here. Probably have some more of the facility in this area. Probably like the living quarters and some of the non-like operations type stuff. So I think that'll be a good way to kind of segue into that space. So let's go ahead and start building this up and see what we can come up with. Alright, so the first thing I always do is just kind of flatten out and clear out the area. I haven't flattened it out yet, but I did clear off all the grass and the ferns and stuff just because it makes it easier to look at. I think I want to leave this tree because I think it provides kind of a nice overhang for the building to sit under. So now the next most important thing we need to do is determine the shape and where exactly this building is going to be facing. So if I had the skill to back it up, I would say we should put it on a 45 and kind of face it out this way. I don't think I can pull off a 45 shaped building, at least not with the idea that's currently in my head. So we're not going to even attempt that. What we are going to do, I think, is kind of bring this terrain out a bit and then build up our building pretty much right here. It's not going to be terribly complex. It's going to be relatively simple. But yeah, let's slap down some dirt and get this area expanded and build up a foundation. Alright, so we extended out the hill here a little bit, cut back quite a bit on the back, and laid down our foundation. I think this is going to be a good size. Now we need to figure out where we're going to put the door on this structure. The building I'm basing this off of is actually one that I built up in creative mode for a different purpose, but I kind of want all the buildings in this area to have the same feel to them, so I figured, going with the same general structure should work. And it's a little easier as well. But on that building, it had the door right about here, which, given the tree, probably not the best bet. So I'm thinking maybe instead actually moving the door to, say, over here? Maybe thereabouts. It will be a double wide door, so that should be decent. I may even do away with the door itself and just leave it open. And that way you can just walk in and out of the structure directly. But what I think is going to be real neat is around the side here, I'm going to create a little path that kind of wraps around the tree and up to here, and then this is going to be like a little lot. It's going to be fenced in, and this is probably where we're going to have our crafter on like the back wall. And it's going to be cool. Trust me. It is all going to come together when we're done. All right, let's start building up these walls. I'm going to grab some oak, some jungle, and then this cardboard scrap that we also made. And this cardboard scrap is just made from paper, basically, when you get down to it. So it was pretty cheap. We start by breaking down some of our logs into planks, but here's the neat part. We pop in here and open up our crafting table. We're going to actually turn these into vertical planks. Oh yeah. How's that for fancy, huh? We're going to do that with both of these. Perfect. So now we've got a bit of a gradient that we can build up. The vertical planks into the jungle, and then peppered with this cardboard. Actually, I think it would be better if we did the cardboard and then the jungle. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. And then we'll, of course, use a little bit of stripped oak in here as well. Maybe some stripped jungle, but would be very sparing with that. We'll also probably lay it sideways. Yeah, because the grain pattern goes up and down on that. Yeah, that looks pretty good, honestly. It's going to be primarily oak, and it's mostly going to be this jungle towards the top edge, just under the roof. It'll give this very old and worn, like it's been here a very long time kind of feel. And I think that fits perfectly with our mining aesthetic. Here you can really see just how useful this effortless building mod is. Like that, I was able to place all that... Oops. Give me that back. I was able to place all that down super fast and super easy. Now, it is just one color, but I kind of prefer building like this. It makes it a little easier to work with, because now I can just go in here and be like, I think this corner, being that's facing the most open air, would probably be one of the most weathered corners of the structure. So I should really focus on making this corner a little bit more beat up than some of the other areas, per se. And then we can kind of work on this corner here. So, as I said, it's going to be the most worn corner of the entire structure, so it would make sense that it is probably the most covered in this jungle cardboard type material. So we'll do a couple blocks there, maybe do one of our strip jungle there. Run out inventory slots already. And then maybe transition it straight to the jungle like this. Now this is going to be our top row here. I'm thinking maybe one more just like that. Yeah. Just to kind of add a bit more to it. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, that looks nice and worn. Maybe swap out one of these blocks, though. It looks a little too grid-like right now. Yeah, that's looking decent. And then break up some more of this constant texture. Some more oak. That's not looking bad at all. Maybe another one right here. Alright, but you can kind of see what I'm going for here. Going with, you know, picking out piece by piece exactly how it's going to wear down. Like here, this is just feeling a little bit striped-like, so I'm actually going to flip these two. Put that one there. Oh, yeah. It's all coming together now. But you can kind of see what I'm doing, you know, working with the corner here, trying to make it look nice and worn down, and then just blending these colors into each other. It's not perfect by any means, but we're also looking at it, you know, up close. If we go like all the way over here and look at it, those colors blend in together a lot more, and I'm sure YouTube's compression is making it even more blended on your perspective than mine. So all in all, I think that's pretty good. We're going to do this to the entire structure. We're going to bring it up another block in height, and then get a floor in here. So now the main structure is starting to come together a bit. As you can see, we finished the texturing on the walls. Made this corner particularly heavy, as you've seen. In fact, actually, just to really sell it, I think we'll go ahead and do one more block. Yeah. One of the only spaces on this entire building that the jungle cardboard mixture comes all the way to the foundation. So that'll really sell that. There's a blank patch here, and we'll get to that in a moment. But as you can see, we added a couple of spaces for windows. along the front here. I think not all of these will remain as windows, depending what we put on the inside, but they're there for now just for measuring purposes. As you can see, I brought in some diorite, and one thing I like to do if I don't pre-plan the build is to bring in a block that is so completely out of place with the structure that you couldn't possibly mistake it for the structure. And I like to do this, that way I can kind of plan out and be like, okay, well, stuff is going to go here eventually. So, like, this is supposed to be a little workshop, so I'm thinking this could be the space for, like, a giant metal shelf holding a bunch of resources, maybe a little bigger even. And then maybe, like, along this wall we'll have, like, our mixer and our press and all the stuff that I'm going to need to use all the time to make, like, sheets and whatnot. But if we come around back, this will be where the yard is. Have our crafter here. That's why I left this wall blank for the moment, because I don't know that we'll be able to even see the wall, and I might have to rip it out just to get power moved to this. But yeah, let's slap a roof on this thing, get some of the rest of the details in, and then we can start crafting up the components to go inside it. It is now the next day, IRL for me. And that is because I spent the last 6 hours-ish working on this build. As you can see, we went ahead and completed. We got a roof on it, and we also got the inside finished up. So let's take a closer look at what we did here. So the first thing you'll notice is we used a bunch of spruce on the outside to kind of trim up the building. I figured the nice dark wood on top of the lighter background would be kind of nice. We added these windows with little sills outside and little coverings. And we did a bit of a trick here where we used dark oak in like the corners of our supports, so when we're far away it kind of looks like shadows. If you're looking directly at them, it doesn't work quite as well, but if you're just looking at the structure without really knowing about it, it does actually work quite nicely. Got shutters on the windows. Some of them are open, some of them are closed, but if we pop on in here, you can see we've done the interior already as well. Added pretty much every machine I think I could really use on a regular basis. Notably, we got our press over here. We've got our rolling mill, is one that we will be using to make wires and stuff when we start dealing with Crafts and Additions electricity. We got 2 different basins with blaze burners and some coal if I ever need to do any kind of like heated mixing. And then over here, we've popped in some logs. You can see we've got automatic strippage happening. And then those will output over here. But then, once these finish up, we can actually take them over here. Give this guy some andesite, for example. Turn that on. And look at that, we've got automatic casings happening. And then all the products just fly up over here and come back in our barrel. And there's a filter on this so they don't come back out onto the belt. I'll have to update this filter once I get more items that I use on this little assembly. But we'll go ahead and just get the last of these in here real quick because I do actually need some. But yeah, and then this should be enough that we can start making precision mechanisms as well. Something we'll probably look into in the next episode. Then over here we have a stressometer that is hooked up to our system. Oop. It's noon. This just shows us how much stress we've got left in the system. I could speed it up a little bit, but didn't figure it was worth the hassle. I did tuck a bed in the corner here just in case as well. Got some more details. I did set up that metal shelving that I was talking about earlier. I think this looks fantastic, honestly. I really do like the copycat panels just by themselves without actually having any imitation in them. But I think this turned out great. Got some storage on it if I ever need to store anything, like spare filters. And then if we come out the back here, guys, you can see we kind of filled up the backyard here with just a whole bunch of junk. It makes it look like it's very used, and bits and pieces have just been kind of thrown back here willy-nilly. But, you know, I've got all kinds of, like, pieces of copper and metal, coils of our fencing here. I got a cog back there as well. And it's all just kind of overgrown, and it feels very lived in. Like, people have been kind of just dropping stuff back here for quite a while. And, like, this metal will eventually rust, kind of like that one there did. And it just is really cool, I think. More storage in case I need. I probably won't use most of the storage. But, you know, got a stone cutter, crafter, etc. And then we have our giant mechanical crafter. So we are actually going to go ahead and put this to use because we need crushing wheels. So just fill in a bunch of materials here like this, pop in our planks and then our stone, and there it goes. Oh, that's so exciting to see. And straight into our barrel. Awesome. All right, now we got crushing wheels that we can use later on. But yeah, little path here. I'll eventually bring in the path out. It's kind of like a back way into this building. But all in all, I think this came together pretty nicely. Give it a little look from Flycam here. As you can see, it's nice and tucked under the tree. The roof is kind of messy looking, like it's been worn down. I kind of broke the corners as well, so that way it looks like it's been through some bad weather here and there. No window on this side. I might put something up against it here. Not sure just yet. But yeah, I think it looks fantastic. And with that, guys, I think that is about all the time I have for today. I probably went a bit over the amount of time I had to do on this, as I still have a lot of editing ahead of me. But that's okay. It was worth it to finish this build and get our iron farm going. I still have more detailing to do on the front here, and I gotta start tying it into the landscape a little better, but it'll come in due time. For now, I'm just super happy that we've got this build and we got our iron farm finally going. And as you can see, we're already up to 15,000 nuggets produced. I'm honestly astonished at how good this farm has been. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I'll be catching you in the next one. Till then, have a good one. Bye-bye.